pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop.
And we are back with your Purple Pants podcast pit stop coverage of Amazing Race season 35. We are recapping episode 6. I am joined by the outspoken, the amazing, the newly married Miss Brooke, formerly Cam High, but Miss Brooke Goodwin. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am great. We had a really good episode this week, so I'm excited.
I feel like I should be able to say I am joined by the ray of sunshine, fantastic, fabulous, kind, wonderful, beautiful inside and out.
Oh, little
Brice
ratchet at
Isaiah.
times, but
Well, I mean, but who's not? Sometimes spicy, always sweet. Love of my life, Brice.
yes. Well, thank you for having me, Brooke. I am super excited for this week's episode. One, because I relinquished the notes back to the note keeper. Brooke was away this week, and we actually watched the episode via commercials together, which was quite fun because, you know, I likes to watch my Amazing Race with a little tequila.
I mean, we watched it, but then it was so funny because at every commercial, it was
Yeah,
just
all right,
yelling at each other. It's like, why is this happening? I was spicy. I think I was spicier than you were because I have feelings on what happened this week. I have very strong feelings. People online have very strong feelings.
Oh.
You and I were having so much fun. We're like, okay, it's on. And we had to hang up. And then at the next commercial, the phones would ring and we would discuss. And now we get to discuss with everyone who decides they want to watch us and listen to us discuss. So I'm excited.
Yes. And on, I want to say Friday, Brooke, because first of all, you think Brooke is diligent with her notes. She's diligent with the text messages as well. She sent me a text message like, I'm at the airport. I'm watching now. I'm taking my notes. And she sent me a photo of like her little tablet taking notes. I said, go ahead,
I had
Brooke.
a setup in the lounge. I was set up with, I had to rewatch because the first time I watched with you discussing at the commercials, but then I had to take the notes because first time was for fun. The second time was for notes. And so I'm in the airport, like writing feverishly notes and people are looking at me like I'm crazy. And I'm just like, what? Go about your business. I'm fine.
Mind your business. It's the humble brag for me. You could tell Brooke won Amazing Race. She said the lounge. Okay.
No. I'm not fancy. I'm not fancy like that.
Listen, I ain't mad, okay? Because I be in the lounge myself. So I love it. But all right, let's get into, well, first of all, before we get into it, overall feelings, let's test your temperature. What Brooke are we getting Brooke? Or are we getting Brooke this episode?
Probably that one.
Oh, Brooke. Okay.
I loved the episode. Like we're getting like happy Brooke because it was a great episode. I like when there are lead changes. I like when things you're not really sure at the end who's going to go home. People are passing each other on the way to the pit stop. I love it. You're getting the Brooke because I sometimes don't like the format and what they decide to do. And I think I have a very strong positive feeling towards Steve and Annalie, and I don't like what happened to them. So let's discuss it.
Okay,
shall we?
Let's into the pit stop.
Let's wade in. So we stay in India. You know that I don't like to stay in the same country, but that's fine. We saw a very different side of India. And I actually really enjoyed it because I think I said last week, sometimes you see a very crowded India. Sometimes some of the teams feel even a little uncomfortable because they're so engulfed in people. But I think the Amazing Race did an amazing job of sort of doing tasks where people are a little bit insulated from the crowds, but also get to be part of the culture and what's going on in the community and see a whole different side of India. So even though we were in the same country, it felt very different. And I really, really enjoyed the scenery and, the backdrop for this episode. So thumbs up for that. See, staying positive. I'm going to do that for as long as humanly possible.
I'm relatively new to Amazing Race. It's like, I would say maybe my 8th season in total, but my 5th like consecutive with you, and there are a lot of people in the YouTube comments that agreed with the way that they were showing India this season as compared to in the past was a lot more enjoyable for the viewer. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch a season with the other side that they show.
I'll send you an episode
Okay,
number. Yeah.
I love
I'll send it to you. Okay, so we have the U-turn vote that starts at the beginning of the leg, which, hold on. We have Steve and Annalie, whose start time is 8:45 in the morning. And then the next team is Greg and John, who's an hour later, okay? So let's just think about this logically. Greg and John, 9:45, Joel and Garrett, 10 minutes later, Andrea and Milena, 3 minutes after that. And then everybody, Todd and Ashley, Rob and Corey, Robin and Chelsea, Liam and Jeremy, Morgan and Lena. By the way, now we have everyone's name right. So sorry, it only took us 6 episodes. Are all within like 40 minutes of each other, all of those teams. So you have Steve and Annalie, who are an hour ahead of the next team and 2 hours ahead of the last team. So before the leg starts, everyone goes to this board and decides who they're going to U-turn. And in a 5-4 vote, Steve and Annalie get U-turned over Robin and Chelsea. So half the teams are basically trying to either slow down or knock out the first place team. And the other half of the teams are picking the team that I think they just weren't meshing with very, very well, or a team that was more toward the bottom who you're more likely to knock out. I do not agree with the teams. You know what? Brice, how do you feel? Who would you have voted for?
So honestly, I probably would have voted for someone in the middle of the pack, right? I don't know, because I probably would have voted for Annalie and Steve, only because they are an hour and a half ahead of everyone. They've won the last like 2 to 3 legs. And again, I asked you this question 2 episodes ago, like, is there a point where you know that you're in the lead, but you just don't win that leg because you don't want to be seen as such a threat? I really feel like when you win, especially the last place, or when you win right before the U-turn, it's like you're fresh on everyone's mind. So, I mean, I'm mad for everybody U-turning them. They are killing it. But me personally, I would have probably voted for whoever was in front of me, right? Like, let me just jump up a space. Unless, like, my last name is Franklin and I'm working with the brothers and the sisters, then I'm not going, U-turn my brother or sister. But had I asked Chelsea and Robin for some help and they didn't help me, I think I probably would have U-turned Chelsea and Robin.
So I think it sort of depends on what team you are. If you are Greg and John, Joel and Garrett, even Andrea and Milena, if you're like 2, 3, and 4, I think maybe you vote for Steve and Annalie because you want to knock them off the top. You want to give yourself a chance to be first, right? But if you are anybody in the bottom half and you're just looking to stay in the game, voting for Steve and Annalie, I don't think it's your move. I think your move is to get somebody else out to keep yourself in. So I can understand why the other teams at the top would vote for them to try and get themselves a win. But if you were anybody who wasn't in the top, and Todd and Ashley voted for Robin and Chelsea. Liam and Jeremy voted for Robin and Chelsea. Morgan and Lena voted for Robin and Chelsea, all the back teams, and smart. And Steve and Annalie did. The problem is you have Rob and Corey, I think, who were sort of the swing vote right in there because they were sitting in 6th place and they voted for Steve and Annalie. That was the one vote that put them over the top. Steve and Annalie, I mean, I applaud you. They are beasts. And I'm so happy they're still in it. If they had gone home this episode, I think I would have boycotted the rest of the season. No, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have boycotted the season. But I would have, that would have been so angering because they don't deserve to go home. I firmly believe that if a U-turn is going to happen like this, which is basically based off nothing because everyone gets to vote, it's not based on the order you get to a U-turn board, that it should have been a double so that 2 teams at least were in danger of going home. But at least it worked out-ish. I really like Liam and Jeremy, so ish. But I don't think that Steve and Annalie should have gone home. And if they did go home, they would have earned their spot back in an unfinished business season in the future because they were just killing it. And I'm happy they're still in it. So
Yeah.
that's my rant on the U-turn vote at the beginning.
Now, my one rant about the U-turn is that I feel like now, I'm a huge proponent of teams working together and forming these alliances. At this point in the game, after the U-turn, I would hope, or I would think that, not hope, but if I'm out there, I am no longer assisting Anna Lee and Steve. Like that, those days are over, right? Like, because I feel like y'all still in it, but I'm not helping you at this point because it's like you're just too good. Like you
I
are
don't think
too.
anyone was helping them before.
I mean, you're right, but I'm just saying, if given the opportunity, like I'm going to turn into Robin and Chelsea. I don't see it.
They're kicking this much ass on their own with no help, and good on them. And good on them the whole episode. The way they kept their attitude. I mean, I can't say enough good things. So should we jump into it? Let's do it. Okay. So Annalie and Steve, kick ass guys, leave first. They have to go to the number 32 Niagara shoe store by foot. So that's one thing you're not going to have an equalizer. They're not going to the airport. So this is U-turn, do as much as you can, as fast as you can. You have 1 hour on the next team, get it done, knock it out, and move fast. So they go to the wrong place, but they have enough of a lead that it doesn't take them long to find the right place. So Greg and John leave second. They're excited. Greg and John are like, we see all these cool animals, all these dogs and cats and cows and donkeys and camels and birds. And I'm sitting there going, bring them home with you. I would have come home with India with a cat or a dog or a donkey in my New York City apartment. I like it. I want to save all the animals. You know me. So anyway, so you get to the shoe store and you have to use this monocular, which is a single binocular, to search the windows of the Hala Mahal, which is 953 windows across the street, to find your next clue. Although teams seem to find it fairly easily because it was right in that one, right in the center, right there, the pink one. And so
it seemed like more of the challenge was figuring out how to use the binocular, right?
Right.
I think Rob was like, my dad used to be on the boat and, he would love to go fishing with his dad and all of this stuff. And then he gets the binocular and he's like, you got to extend it, Rob. You got to extend it.
But in all fairness, who uses something like that? And you twist things. Like, this was very funny. I don't remember who said it. I think might have been Steve, who was like, it's something straight off the Santa Maria where you're like pulling it out. But the teams it wasn't enough trouble to slow it. That wasn't what was going to slow the teams down this week. It was just sort of a little bit of comic relief where all the teams were like, I don't get it. And then they got it. So Joel and Garrett get to start next. They're happy to stay in India. They have their facial hair. They feel connected to all of the Indian people. Everyone's complimenting Garrett on his great mustache. And so they're out the door and out the gate next. So everyone who is there so far, which is Steve and Annalie, Greg and John, Joel and Garrett, they're looking in the window to get their next clue. And their next clue tells them that they have to go to this UDAI pole number 2. And when they get there, they're told they have to find an electric rickshaw. So about half the rickshaws in the city are electric. There is one company apparently run and operated all by women. Go ladies. Although I got to tell you, some of the female drivers were not giving female drivers a great name because they were very, very slow and getting very, very lost and stereotyped. So they have to go to this parking lot that has dozens and dozens and dozens of rickshaws, find one that is marked, push the other ones out of the way, make a pathway for the marked one, and then take their rickshaw to what will be the detour where we find out that Steve and Annalie are ultimately U-turned. So the next team to leave is Team Philly. They're excited to be in the Pinks.
Quick question.
Yeah.
This is kind of what pissed me off a little bit, right? Because some of the teams moved the carts out the way and then they got in it. Other teams pushed it all the way to the end. So I was curious what the rule was. But another thing, if, again, these teams are very, very close together, I would have moved the lady carts all the way to the back. I would have I would have made it so hard for the people to get out.
So you can't sabotage another team. I think there would have been a penalty for moving another one to the back. But what you can do, and I don't see why teams didn't do this, is move all of the unmarked ones in front of the other ones.
Right.
Don't touch the other marked ones because then there could be a penalty. But touch the other unmarked ones and pile them up in front of all the marked ones if you're at the front. If I were Steve and Annalie, I would have taken, 5 minutes and just moved every other marked one so that other people had a hard time. Because once you got to the end of the pack, people were like, oh, there's already a path for us. We're fine. So there's ways to sabotage without actually incurring, I believe, a penalty. So that's what I would have done.
Good to know, because I would have incurred a penalty because I would have been moving them out the way. Another thing I felt like with the teams in the front, especially when, first of all, you're in India, right? And it's so much going on. I would have asked one of the drivers, do you know where this is? And I just would have asked another one. And the confidence level between the two, I would have went with the more confident one. Because ultimately, I feel like
one of the teams went home because their driver got there. That is smart. I didn't even think of that. Go to the drivers because you have a slim pool of drivers and say, do you know where this is? Do you know where this is? See how confident they are in driving. Are you fast? You're going to get me there quickly? Have a conversation. English is official language of India. These women seem to all speak English and understand English. And so that is very Brice.
I'm trying to tell you. And I take it a step further.
You're ready for this. You're ready for, I think the student has become the teacher. You're officially ready to run the amazing race. And
whatever the call comes, but also not to stereotype, but I feel like I could tell which drivers was going to be slow, which driver. I need me a driver that looks a little off, a little disheveled, that looked a little I needed a driver that was ready to risk it all. And I felt like I would have picked that driver because some of them was just like, hey, how you doing?
And then you have Andrea Melanas who was like,
well, child, they always get the fast cars. Okay,
they were so lucky. Stop it. No, we're not doing this today. Give me 1 second.
Bacon's
Stop
back.
it.
Bacon's back. Bacon said he wanted to get on a rickshaw. Okay, Bacon is trying to get on a rickshaw. Bacon would have picked a fast rickshaw.
He fixed it.
See,
I was just 10 seconds to fix it so that we don't have the problem for the next hour.
I was telling people that was Bacon barking at a rickshaw, asking if they could go fast or not.
Bacon's paintings. Okay, so we have so Team Philly is excited. Like I was saying, this is our Pink City, Team Pink, Team Philly. They're walking around going out of towners.
First of all,
I think it's so funny. I think it's so funny.
Melena and Andrea, today out of towners, and mind you, they really be stopping traffic. They just walk in. I would be scared because you saw Phil said they took a poll. There is no time. There is no peak traffic in India. It's always crazy. Right. That first of all, that's how you know they from Philly, because they out of towners. Oh, out of towners. Let's go. Out of towners. Let's go. We out of town. We out of town. Okay,
they are willing to risk life and limb, but you know what? And they're not gonna hit us. You know what? That's the same mentality as New Yorkers. You go across the street, nobody wants to deal with the paperwork of having mowed down a pedestrian. So, and I like it
because they keep going. That's called a hit and run, Brooke. Okay.
Vehicle and traffic law 600. No, I know the answer to that. Okay, so anyway, okay, so Steve and Annalie get to the spice market in their rickshaw and they see, as expected, they are U-turned. I'm not happy about it. It's not the team that I would have chosen to be U-turned, but it is what it is. Annalie is fired up. She gets pissed. And Steve is basically says, get over it and get ready and knock it out. I love them. He is like, I'm invested in this episode at this point, because if this is how they go out, it's BS. I am invested. So I like the fact that Steve's like, look, we knew it was going to happen. Put on your big girl pants. Let's go. And she's like, okay, we're going to channel this energy into something positive and we're going to keep moving. Meanwhile, let's just note that we're talking about other teams that have started. No, other teams are basically starting now.
They just
So
got up. They
yeah,
just got up.
they're still like brushing their teeth and drinking their morning coffee before they start the leg because Steve and Annalie are so far ahead. So maybe some of the other teams shouldn't have voted for them. Anyway, the detour is bundles or bricks. Okay. So in bundles, right there. Oh, Liam and Jeremy. So you have 4 varietals of flowers. You have to tie up the bundles. You have to take these very, very heavy bundles into your tiny little rickshaw and find 2 temples and then take the receipt back to the vendor to get your clue.
Say it again. Say it again.
Take your receipts back to the vendor to get your clue. Okay, fine. And then in bricks, you have to take a cycling rickshaw, which, oh my God, this looks so difficult. Carry 50 bricks, a ton of sand, a boatload of gravel to a construction site, stack them all up, and then take your receipts back to the beginning to get your clue. Okay, so these are the detours. Steve and Annalie go, doesn't matter, we got to do both, and they get started. They go to bundles first. They are knocking it out. I don't even know, the way that they tied these bundles was like very intricate and difficult, and they were like, boom, 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 doom, done. And this is my favorite moment of the episode. I really hope I wrote it down exactly. So Steve goes to Annalie, can you carry 2 bundles? She goes, hell yeah, I can. And she's so tiny and so mighty. And she is just not having it. She's not letting them be slowed down. So she's carrying 2 bundles. I think, I don't know the answer, but I think she's like smaller than I. She's little, but she is just so strong and is not about to be stopped. So they,
I do have a gripe though.
Oh, gripe it up.
So
why should I be the only one?
Just with the bundle aspect of it, not necessarily with Steve and Annalie, but if I'm watching Amazing Race, I like to see the judges. Where was the judges for the knots on the bundles? We didn't see it, right? So I, again, feel like if I was out there, I just would have, let's go. They didn't check the knots.
I'm sure there was one. Because you did see Morgan and Lena be like, no, we have to do this way, this way, this way, this way. And they weren't just Lena got, I really love them. I wrote notes about them. I very much enjoyed watching them do it because they also, they're pretty funny because they killed it. They're both carrying 2. And Lena's like, I was like the Hulk. I was doing so great. And Morgan's like, you relax. You're not that great. And Lena's like, but I was great. I was really great.
I felt Lena's energy this episode because Lena's like, let's just tie it. And Morgan's like, can I watch the instruction? Lena like, let's go. You're wasting time. We need to know how to tie them. Lena like, okay, but we can do it at the same time. Morgan was like, I want to watch the instructions, but I'm not mad because I feel like Morgan and Lena have been through the ringer enough to know that it is important to stop and watch the instructions because you can miss a critical piece. But I just felt like I was with Lena on that. Give me your left hand, you put your right hand in, you put your left hand out, you do the hokey
pokey, right?
Tie the knot up about.
The thing is this, the really good part about the bundles one is there were people tying the knots and they would just tie and untie. So it wasn't like you had to wait for a full demonstration to like go through. They were doing it so quickly and you could just be like, okay, this. It did not look easy, but they did great. So anyway, so you have Steve and Annalie who are fighting the temples. They're doing awesome. They're nailing it. The other teams are literally just starting. John and Greg get there. But it's so true. They were so far. They had an hour lead in the same city. If you don't mess up is a savior. You saw Steve and Annalie got to the second detour just as teams 2 and 3 and 4 got to their first detour. So all those teams did, and shout out to Todd and Ashley, because I know you voted for Robin and Chelsea, so you're not part of this, is slow down the first place team to even it out. And I get it. I get it. If you're in second or third, I get why you voted for Steve or Annalie. So I don't have a gripe against you. I just really love them so much that I don't think they should have had to go through what they went through. So, yeah.
It was the side talk when people would see Steve and Annalisa. They'd be like, oh, they are here.
And I'm here for it. I loved that they got back into it. And so what happened next is a moment that people online are talking about a lot. So Steve and Annalie get to the bricks, right? And Greg and John are there. I think Joel and Garrett are probably just Joel and Garrett are there because they end up taking Steve and Annalie's rickshaw. Todd and Ashley are showing up, and the receipt taker at detour number 2 says, you cannot do this detour. You didn't finish the other one.
Now,
right.
So
yeah,
how they know where to go?
Well, they had to say it with me. Read their clue. So you have the receipt guy saying you can't do this, you didn't finish the other one, and people online are like, wait a second, hold on. In past seasons, people aren't told to the end of the leg of the pit stop they didn't finish a task and they have to go back and do it. Did production step in? Did they give them help? Was this not okay? Was this just a concerned receipt guy who saw the receipts in their pouch and said, oh, no, wait, you have to go do that? No, everybody calm down, relax. So on The Amazing Race, if you have to do 2 sides of the detour because it happened on our season, again, apologies to Liz and Mike because we are the ones who U-turn them.
Were they in front of you?
No, but we had an agreement with we had an agreement with London and Logan. We were all sort of in the back.
Shout out to London.
Yeah, that if we got to a U-turn, our team would U-turn somebody else to help keep the other one in because we were working together. And so we did. I felt horribly about it. Words were said. So apologies were made.
So just so I'm clear on the pit stop, you over here griping at people using Steve and Annalie's name, but in your own season, you not doing what you said you would do.
Yes, I did. We were in the back. We U-turned another team in the back to keep our friends who were in the back still in the race. I would not do it again. I don't.
You say that now until All Stars.
I said it then. I was on the screen. I was there going, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But then you got to move, and we did it. So we did it. I was part of it. I'm horrible. So anyway, feel free to yell at me. I know. I did. I know. I'm sorry. I've apologized.
But how did the season work out for you?
For us, all right. So anyway, so what happened in our season was in Greece. There was a team who got U-turn, Liz and Mike, and they had to do both sides of a detour, right? They had to run up these stairs and carry these live goats down like hundreds of stairs, and they were each supposed to take a goat, right? Pretty sure it was them and not Becca and Floyd, because Becca and Floyd were also U-turn. It might have been Becca and Floyd, and they took who we didn't U-turn, by the way. Somebody else U-turned them, so just shout out to that. It wasn't us. Anyway, they brought down 1 goat instead of 2. And they had to go do the other half of the detour. And they were told they couldn't do the other half of the detour until they finished the first half of the detour. They didn't have to wait till they got to the end of the leg and were told they had to go all the way back. That's normal. You're told you can't move on until you finish the first half of the detour. So I am sure production told the receipt taker to go over and just say, you're not allowed to start this. Read your clue. He didn't tell them what you had to do. He just said, you're not allowed to be here yet. And so they went back and they read their clue, and that's what happened. And that is normal. So everyone just calm down. Production didn't interfere and give them an advantage. That's just how it works. If you don't finish one half of a detour, someone's going to tell you you can't do the next one, but not tell you, here's what you need to do the next one. Just read the clue.
And we seen it earlier this season, I think episode 2, with the husbands at the floating fruit market when they didn't get their receipt from the dragon fruit.
But specifically with the detour, I think people were like, well, this isn't fair. They didn't get to the end. Like, this is how it works. Everybody relax. So anyway, Steve and Annalie are told they can't do the bricks. They read their clue. Annalie's like, well, F this, we're out. But no, they keep moving because they're not out. There were so many times, I took a tally. There were like 8 times where every different team was like, well, we're last. No, we're last. We're out of it. We don't see anybody. But even though they were down, they were not out. So Steve and Annalie get back in their rickshaw. They know where they're going. They go back, they drop off the receipt, and they come back, and they're still in it because they were so far. I really honestly believe that had they dropped off the receipts in the first place, they were running for first place again, and this U-turn would have meant absolutely nothing for them, which I think is kind of hilarious and amazing. So anyway, given that Steve and Annalie have to leave, Greg and John leave the bricks first. They do fantastic. Rob and Corey seem to do it without any issue. Corey is riding the rickshaws. Apparently his doesn't have a squeaky wheel like other people's do because they ride very smoothly. After they get it, Rob jumps in the back and lets Corey drive him back, which I think is so funny and so wonderful. Todd and Ashley damn near kill someone on the side of the road, but then they stop and they're like, he's okay.
He's okay.
He's okay.
He's okay.
Let's keep going. And they do great. And then Joel and Garrett, who honestly, my heart goes out to them because Joel is so excited to do
for the bike.
Yeah, the bike. He's like, I cycle. Now, I had a moment like this. We are in Vietnam, rural Vietnam, and we have to do a biking challenge where I damn near die. It was like 50 miles in a 1-gear bike, whatever. But I was like, oh, I took some spin classes. I got this. No problem.
Not a spin class.
I don't got this. I did not got this. But Joel, anyway, I give them a lot of credit because he gets very, very, very hot and uncomfortable. In that same episode in our season, that's the episode that Becca and Floyd were eliminated because Floyd got heat stroke because of the cycling, and he had to be eliminated. They had to be medically removed from the race. So I start to think, oh God, oh no, Joel, he's had tunnel vision. Things are getting blurry, but he does the right thing. He says to Garrett, let's stop. Let's use some leg money. Let's get some water. And there is no underestimating how much a little bit of water when you're feeling so hot and bothered with you can see like the black spots is going to save you. And it legitimately saves their day. I was so happy to see them back in it.
So can you explain a little bit more to us regarding that? Because I feel like on Survivor, we get flint and to make fire, to boil water. But I remember a time on my season where we didn't have flint, and essentially production told us like the benefits outweigh the cons of not boiling the water, and drink the water even if it's not boiled because you need to stay hydrated. Does Amazing Race not provide any like things for you guys to stay hydrated during the actual leg? Because I just feel like that's kind of like a little safety concern.
So that's interesting because there were times, I'm actually surprised they didn't give them water. There were times, but I do realize why. So there were times where, for example, in Vietnam, when there was a roadblock and people were doing it, the non-participants were guzzling water. They have water for you. They have special like electrolyte water for you to keep you okay. But I don't remember the people who were participating getting water. Also, I don't remember them asking for it. I don't think anybody stopped to ask for it. I think it's probably because they were both in the middle of doing the challenge that they had to use their leg money to get the water. It may also have been that they didn't stop and ask production for water. And I don't know what would have happened if they did. But the participating, no, because honestly, when we were in Zanzibar, we were searching all these trunks for stuff and there was water for us there too. They kept us hydrated. The Amazing Race does a very good job of keeping people safe. I think this was a situation where they were out on the road in the middle of a task and there happened to be, thankfully, a stand there for them to purchase it. The rule is if you're in the middle of the race, you have to use your leg money. There is no outside money. Thankfully, they had it. They got 2 huge bottles of water. And to see how Joel's demeanor changed in 10 seconds of it hitting his lips was just awesome. He was back in it and they did an absolutely, absolutely great job. That was a good use of money, even though I'm not a proponent of spending your leg money. This is where you spend it. When you need it to stay in it, you use it. Okay. And very, very smart. So fan of that.
Add that to Brooke's rule number 736 of the Amazing Race. What you say? Spend it. If you need it, spend it.
If you need it to stay in it.
If you need it to stay in it.
Otherwise, you don't need like a mocha frappuccino at the beginning of every leg of the race. And
sometimes, you got to stay hydrated.
Mocha frappuccino.
From 7-Eleven.
From 7-Eleven. Look, nothing wrong with 7-Eleven. Sponsor us. Okay, so Joel and Garrett are at 4, right? And then you're back on the other side. So these now doing bundles, you have Morgan and Lena. I don't even care they argue. I think they're so funny. I don't care that Lena gets spicy. I think they're so good together. Even when they're angry, they're just good television and just so lovely. And I'm a fan of them. So
I like their confessionals after it. And Morgan's like, no, you got a little spicy. And Lena like, I mean, I did.
Sometimes
right.
You gotta
okay.
Get spicy. You get that. As spice is
well, I'm never spicy.
Life.
I am always one way, happy, friendly. And if anything happens, I handle it with class, grace. I don't argue. I don't yell. I just smile. So it's not something I could relate to.
Me too.
2 seconds later, I know you.
So Morgan and Lena finish in 5th place. And then, even though they were U-turned, they say, I don't care. Steve and Annalie are in 6th place because they cannot be stopped. And then you have Andrea and Milena, who honestly, I think they could have been faster. I think a little bit of that was just the traffic. And so the bundle side has to deal with traffic and congestion. The brick side has to deal with physical exhaustion. The funny part is Liam and Jeremy, who when they're doing the bundles, were like, "This shit's heavy, man."
Right, They're like, it's like 60 pounds.
Yeah, we should have just done the bricks at this point. So anyway,
but I also thought interesting because as Andrea and Melania were leaving, Milena, excuse me, Jeremy and Liam were there, and they're like, any suggestions on how to tie the knot? Andrea was like, watch the instructions.
And Milena just goes crisscross,
Right.
crisscross. It's so funny. I think that she felt badly not telling them.
But also,
what
it's like,
to do.
I mean, I love me the brothers. But like, I don't think that this is something that you ask for help with, right? Like, it's like
you can ask,
but I
don't think you have to give it. I think that Milena felt when Andrew was like, just watch, and Milena, which good, you're in the back, that's what you do, and then Milena is like, I have to say something. I don't want to be rude.
Right. It's just
okay,
like
crisscross.
Chelsea Robin, take notes. That's how you do it.
Say something. Try and be helpful, even though you're not actually doing anything to help.
Chelsea and Robin be like,
we're not. You never saw us. We're not.
We're not here. Another tactic that the Philly Johns used that I thought I noticed that I didn't see anyone else. They kept using the top of their cart. They were putting all their stuff on top of the cart. So I was like, I don't know if that's smart, innovative.
I was like, what if it falls off?
I know I was nervous, but it didn't. But I was like, everyone just is stuffing it in there with them. They was like, we need the space. They put it on the top. So
they like luxury. They need the leg room. They need the Comfort Plus rickshaw.
Listen, because they out of towners. So
I love them. I just think they're so funny.
I love it because I feel like they feel like it is the universal language that like anywhere you go, if you say that people are like, well, just get out the way and help you. Like, that's the way they use like out of towners. Like, I just love it. I'm gonna start
people are just like, oh, I think we should use it.
I'll use it at work when
I'll see you on Wednesday. We're just gonna walk around the streets being like, out of towners. I don't care.
No, my supervisor gonna come up to me and be like, do you have that report? Out of towners. Okay.
And he'll be like, but the report?
Right. My mortgage company is going to be like, your mortgage, out of towners.
That's hilarious. I think we should use that for everything. Andrea and Milena, we're stealing this from you because it's really just hilarious. Okay, so then we have the two in the back. You have Robin and Chelsea who decide to do bricks, and Liam and Jeremy who decide to do bundles. So I honestly feel like if Liam and Jeremy went to bricks, we would have had a very different outcome to the end of the race. It was they were done in, and it's sad when this happens, by a very slow, very lost rickshaw driver.
And then she kept telling them she know where they was going.
She didn't know anything. She didn't know.
And then they're like, I'm pretty sure we've driven past this.
Oh, I dropped my notes. You know that if Todd was in that rickshaw, Todd would have been like, get out the way.
Oh, yeah.
I'll drive.
Todd would have been driving.
He was sitting in the front. He was sitting in the front of his rickshaw with the driver, which I just think is so funny. Okay, so.
Like, you don't want to, you can go, you go left and go right.
I would be like, we're going left. So the difference for me, which was so interesting, and the editing did such a good job out of this, was they showed Robin and Chelsea. They're like, this is a little slice of hell. Like, it was all like not positive comments. And then they show Liam and Jeremy who were like, it's okay. We're excited to have they were shown so differently, like a full 180 of each other. One team, even though they know they're in the back, at one point when they get to the roadblock, I think it's Jeremy is like, I just get to enjoy it. I'm just enjoying it. I got to take a note from them. So anyway, that's how the detour is going. And so then what happens? Please, airport notes. Okay, so
the lounge paper.
This paper came from duty free. I was like, can I just borrow like scrap paper? Thanks. Okay, so then they have to take after you're finished with a detour, or in some case detours, you have to travel by rickshaw to a fabric shop, get a bolt of fabric, and Greg and John get there first. Rob and Corey get there right after. And then you have to go to this carpet place where the clue is who likes to play with blocks, right? Then you have to make 9 peacocks, which is the national bird of India, using this really cool paint stamping, fabric stamping, ink blotting technology. I don't know the right way to say it. But anyway, so you have Greg and John, Rob and Corey, then Joel and Garrett, Todd and Ashley, Morgan and Lena, who have climbed the ranks. They are kicking tush this episode. Then Steve and Annalie. Good job, guys. Andrea and Melena. Then Robin and Chelsea and Liam and Jeremy are bringing up the rear. So Greg gets there first. He says, the tough part is if you mess up, you can't fix it. You just got to keep starting over.
Right.
He does fantastically. On his first try, he gets 6 out of the 9, which is unprecedented because most teams got 0, maybe 1, 2 if you're great. Rob got 3. He was there so long. My heart was like breaking for him. He was there for a very long time. He was getting a bunch of zeros.
They were getting the 2 blues mixed up. And so that was something interesting for me. Now, normally I feel like the judges, as time goes on, they get a little more lenient. This judge, first of all, loved him, right?
This judge. I love
this judge. He didn't get lenient at all. He got more stricter. And I think I was dying, and that might have been with Todd, when Todd was like, I think it's over. But no, he's just going back to get more ink to put on the X. He enjoyed putting those X's down a little too much. Like, he was like, and then he would just stand there.
But I will say, when somebody got it, he was also very nice to say, and this is for you. And I think might have been Joel who goes, and this is for you, and just gives him a very, very big hug, which was very, very cute. This X's, Todd's like, I'm going to see these in my nightmares. I think that's a really good, I like that. Part of it was like, sometimes it's fun to have the judge that just goes, no. But sometimes it's fun to have a judge that's like,
right.
And so Greg ends up getting it first. And then Joel jumps up and ends up getting it second, gives his judge a big hug. Rob, after many, many, many tries and several bolts of fabric, gets it third. I love Rob because honestly, if I had gone through, he went through probably 3 times as much fabric as everybody else, but he still, even though he was getting a little frustrated, didn't let it get to him. He talked about how he needs to stay calm. He needs to do it for his team. He went and got his glasses at one point, which was so cute, so he could see more clearly things it was so cute. I am such a fan.
I died when he did that because he was like, oh, you know what? I ain't playing with y'all no more. Corey, come give me my glasses because I'm not playing with you.
That was great. I thought that was so funny. And then you have Lena, who, first of all, the first time she does it, she goes, it looks like my peacock got slaughtered because the red paint goes everywhere. She actually got very, very lucky. I think this was her who got really lucky. She went to rewatch the demonstration because good on you. That's what you do. And there happened to be one more peacock being demonstrated on, and she saw that the yellow happened before the red. Had she gotten there 30 seconds later, she wouldn't have seen that. So I like that she went and checked and realized she was doing it in the wrong order. Then you have Steve, who was one who was mixing up the blues. And I'm sitting there going, no, you get it right. Because I'm now rooting for these guys because I feel like they've been unfairly U-turned. Even though they haven't. It's totally fair. It's the game. We all do it to people. But I want to make sure. No, it's fair. They were fairly U-turned. I just want to make sure they don't go home because I don't think it would have been fair for them to go home. I would have thought that would have been, a glitch in the matrix. So anyway, he realizes he's doing it wrong. And Steve gets out of there 6th after Todd, who is just hilarious. I think Todd and Ashley are just rays of sunshine and super, super fun. They're talking in the beginning about they don't know how it's going to go. It's going really, really well. Their communication is really, really great. And he's even with all of the X's and the fact that he's like, oh my God, I want to die. Like he was still positive. I think this season we didn't see anybody. I don't think we have anybody who gets really angry.
You know who Todd and Ashley remind me of a little bit? Who was the team that won? That's like the YouTubers, the husband and wife.
And Penn.
Kim and Penn. They remind me a little of them. Same, but different, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're very consistent, and I I could see Todd and Ashley going far.
I would love to see Todd and Ashley going far. Same in the way that they have like a love for each other and a compassion for each other, but different in the way that I don't think I would have ever seen Kim and Penn be like, we're going this way, and like grab the rickshaw.
Right.
I think Todd and Ashley have an energy that's a little bit different, and I am loving it. Their energy
is crazy energy, and I feel like it aligns with the energy with myself. So
if we're ever on a season with them in the future, they are an alliance of ours immediately, whether they want to be or not.
Whether they want or not.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Or also, yay. Okay, so then
it's me and Todd. Okay, you can have Ashley. Me, it's like
great. Fine by me. She's amazing. I want to be her friend. So then you have Andrea and Melena. Melena is in there. She gets 0 on the first try. She gets 0 on the second try. Andrea is being so positive. And then we hear a little anecdote about what happened during the pandemic. And my heart breaks. Melena, oh my God, you deserve so much better than this jerk who cheated on you. And Andrea was there for her. And they're sisters, whether it's by birth or by just life relationship.
Right.
Exactly, by love. And I get so happy when she starts getting it. They're so sweet together. I like the fact that they're not being shown as just like this, like very high energy, little bit nutsy, like out of towners. This is who we are. We're just fun and nothing else. They have depth and they're showing it. I like that's why part of the reason I really like these episodes being a little bit longer, so you can actually learn a little bit more about the people, because the race is fun to see the tasks and the locations and everything, but it is also a little bit more fun when you get to learn more about the people who are running it. So
right.
A tear goes down my face. You and I talk at the commercial. We're like, oh my God, but we love them. So, okay. So she gets out of there 7th. But before she gets out of there, when Steve and Annalie get there and Steve starts doing the roadblock, Annalie's like, which one of you did it? Who did this to us? I will find you. And you guys are dumb because we're here.
Andrea said, me? Oh no, no. Why would we do that? Never. No.
That'd be so dumb. But then you got the confessional where she's like,
she gonna have to watch it on TV. Now, mind you, I love the stark difference between Andrea and Corey, where Corey is like, well, yeah.
We just wanted to sleep. We just needed to sleep.
You guys are so good. We just had to slow you down. Like
I like Joel because first of all, you have Morgan, who good on her, who without even being asked anything was like, I just want to we didn't do it. And Lena, who's doing the roadblock, said to Steve, just so you know, we didn't do it. Like it wasn't us, and it wasn't them. They voted for Robin and Chelsea. And then you have Todd and Ashley, who Ashley's like, we didn't do it, and they didn't do it. They voted for Robin and Chelsea. And then you have Joel or Garrett, who was we did it. We did it. Sorry, we did it. And I like the honesty. I'm there for the honesty. And then Corey was like, we just wanted to slow you down.
We love you, but we just had to do what we had to do. Now, question.
Yes.
Your thoughts on Annalie asking that, right? Because I mean, a little awkward, but I mean, I'm not mad.
I would have done it. I would have been like, who did it? Who? Which one of you guys did it? And how do you not? How are you sitting there? Because you know what? They caught up. So, good on her. She wasn't mean about it. She was like, who did it? You dumb. Who did it?
But she wasn't not nice. She wasn't mean about it, but it was like she actually was asking you, right? It wasn't like a rhetorical question or a rhetorical means a response, right?
No, rhetorical means
no response, right? So it wasn't a rhetorical question.
No,
she was asking.
I would have done it too. Are you kidding? These people I would have asked also, okay, who did it? I probably would have been like, all right, which one of you guys did it to us? Like, it doesn't really matter, but I would have wanted to know too. How do you sit there on the sidelines and just sit with these people and not say something?
See, I'm a little spicy. I probably wouldn't have said nothing, but I'd be like, not us getting U-turned. We here.
You're very passive aggressive. You would have been like, wow, we had to do both of these and we caught up to all of you guys. God, we're so good. We're really, really good. Look what you needed to do to slow us down, and we're here.
Hey, Rob, you need your glasses? I would have been like, Todd, you need some more red ink? Right.
Does that judge need to put more on the X3?
See, I would have been spicy.
No, you think it's mean to ask. You would have been just bitchy. Like you. But I think actually your way's really funny. Your way's funnier. Okay, fine. You're in charge. You're in charge of the shade. when we're on the race. So everyone's gone, right? And then they made it look like there was only so much they could do to make it look like Chelsea and Jeremy were, you know, in the same spot at the same time, because Robin and Chelsea actually end up leaving before Liam and Jeremy even get there. So it wasn't as close as we like to think it was. You do again, I think the editors are trying hard, because Robin and Chelsea aren't doing themselves any favors in how they're relating with the other teams. In hearing Robin's story again when she's doing the printing press challenge, or whatever you want, ink press, paint press, whatever, print screen, enough, challenge. And you hear again about her situation and her husband and her tumor and her weight loss. And look, I respect it all. I really, really do. I think they want us to know more about them so that we like them. I have no problems with them. I think that they're racing really well together. They've been all over the map, though. There's no consistency. Like Todd and Ashley have been 5, I think, like almost every time. They're very consistent. And then you have Liam and Jeremy who get there, and I don't know how. I just don't know how they stayed so positive. But you have, it was Liam who gets to enjoy the task as he's doing it and just doesn't stop and doesn't give up. I like that Phil didn't come to get them. He let them finish. And the pit stop is at this traffic circle, and Greg and John get there first. They get a trip to New Zealand. I would have been like, can we go out to dinner with you and your dad when we get there? But so good for them. Congratulations on your leg win. The U-turn worked as you wanted it to. So good for you for doing it in a way that made sense for you. Fine, love it. Rob and Corey get back into second place, and they are shell-shocked. They are legitimately, they don't know. Like the looks on their faces, they had a really good driver, I think is what it is. And then you have Joel and Garrett, who are very positive. Their positivity is paying off, they say. And then Morgan and Lena in 4th place. They go from last to 4th. They're happy to be back in the top half. I'm happy for them to be back in the top half.
To all the people that said they wasted their express pass, no.
Doesn't matter now.
Because what number are they now? Because if they didn't use it, they wouldn't be here. So I feel like the express pass was a success to express.
Oh, I like that. You should coin that. And then you have Todd and Ashley, because when are they not 5th? And that's fine.
Here's the thing, though, right? Like Todd and Ashley, consistent, right? Like I feel like they definitely have a shot. I hope that we can get to, like, because you always say everybody or every roadblock or every detour, you feel like it's catered to somebody.
They'll be right at some point, yeah.
Right. I hope that we get to see that soon, because if they could get to 2 or 3, like, I feel like they're a shoe-in to win.
I would love if they made it to the end. I think that would be really, really great. But now there's 8 teams left, so you can't stay 5th for that long. 3 legs from now, you better not be 5th. So you have to climb up a little bit. But I really hope they do, because I just find them a joy. I just think they're fun and entertaining and lovely people. And then you have Andrea and Milena, the out-of-towners, show up. Good job, ladies. Steve and Annalie cannot be stopped. You throw 2 detours in front of them, does not matter. They will not be taken down. I hope they make it really far. Robin and Chelsea come in 8th, and Liam and Jeremy, thank you, and Liam come in 9th. I'm sad because they're so kind to each other. They talk about how they had the best experience. You had the opportunity to speak to them. I was happy to be at a work conference, so I couldn't be on with you. But I watched it and listened to it. If you haven't seen it, watch Brice talk to Liam and Jeremy, because it's a really nice interview. They seem like such lovely, wonderful, kind people who just stayed positive, which is something I need to learn from somebody. So that's the episode.
Yeah, it was a great episode, great exit interview with Liam and Jeremy.
Yes.
It's available now. If you haven't listened, watch and check it out. This is what I will say, right? I feel like this, because with this episode 6, I feel like the trajectory of the race is like kind of sort of locked in my opinion, right? Because I always say this, like, I don't care about who gets to the pit stop first, the first 4 episodes. It doesn't really matter. It's like right here really says a lot for me.
Okay.
And I, in my opinion, had Annalise and Steve winning, but them being to what are they? 6?
7.
7. That's hard, right? And so
But they're 7 because they had to do an extra task.
I'm not saying that.
And they're still 7.
I mean, that's great. But what I'm saying is I don't know if they're going to be able to jump that fast, right? Like, I feel like my final 3, I could see a Rob and Corey. I could see Morgan and Lena.
Oh, yeah.
I could see
Greg and
Todd
John,
and
probably.
Ashley.
Mhm.
I could see the brothers.
Greg and John. Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, now granted, it's only 8 teams and I just named 5, but
I could see the Philly John. I could
Andrea
see
and Melena.
Robin and Chelsea. Yeah, no, but only those ones.
Only
are the ones.
those
That's
8.
it. That's
Only
it.
those
Right.
8 I could see. But no, I just feel like from the seasons that I have watched with you, that right now
Yeah.
it's really the crunch time. And so if you don't like, then it's like, that's all I'm saying. But I could be wrong.
No, I like that. I will say this: they're not going to stay in India forever, so there is going to be a equalizer on an airplane coming up sometime soon. So I don't think 7's going to stay 7 or 8's going to stay 8. I think if they're not all on the same flight, they're all going to be on a couple flights. They're going to have 1s and 2s,
Right.
and then it comes down to what comes next with tasks and who happens to get lucky, and it happens to be something that's good for them. Maybe there'll be a cycling task for Joel, or maybe there will be I don't know who's good at what. What the heck do I know? Maybe there'll be a yelling at the top of your lungs task for Todd, or like
Maybe it'll be a basketball.
Oh my God, duh, he was a basketball player, right? Maybe there is very regularly some sort of sports related, whether it's kicking a field goal or something with soccer. And now that I'm saying it, I remember the preview for next week, and it's something with soccer. So let's see who's athletic.
But I feel like Greg and John are going to kill it. I feel like Corey is going to excel in that.
Not just Corey.
I mean,
Rob is kicking ass across the.
Rob is, but I feel like I could see. I mean, I could see it all. So I'm excited.
I am too.
At this point, it's like my heart, though. Like, I don't really want any teams to get eliminated anymore, right? Like, because I feel like we love them all. But we
should watch together next week. I think we should. I think we should get together and watch in person. I think maybe we'll do that. Let's do that.
I think that would be fun.
Sounds like a plan.
Well, this has been your Purple Pants Podcast pit stop coverage of Amazing Race Season 35, Episode 6. You can tune in next week where Brooke and I will be back recapping Episode 7, and we might have some more surprises for you.
I like surprises. I wonder what they are.
So do I. But thank you again, Brooke, and thank you guys for listening and watching, and we will be back next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop.